a shame. Nothing breaks your heart more than seeing a perfectly good sailboat sitting up on a beach. Yeah. And no, they're going to have a hell of a time getting this thing off. In fact, I am making a new video today. Can anybody guess what the subject matter is? I've got inspiration sitting in front of me. Unfortunately, it's not the good kind of inspiration. Look, this stuff kind of happens. The other night, a storm came through, and this boat got knocked off its mooring, washed up onto Playa Sosua. We're trying to find the owner. Evidently, he's on hiatus up in Canada. This is a problem. Number one, they got to get some security on this boat because one more night down here and all the electronics and anything of value is going to vanish. The second problem is that this is probably the worst part of the beach for something like this to occur. Now, if we're in a different country, in a different spot, it wouldn't be that difficult to refloat this boat. The hull's still in good shape. The rigging's all looking good. The issue here is getting the proper equipment down here to get the job done, and it's almost impossible. I don't think they can get a crane down here. I mean, it would take a massive undertaking. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that somebody comes up because there's nothing worse than watching a boat like this, a perfectly good sailboat, get cut in pieces and hauled off in dump trucks. Hey, what's up, everybody? Another beautiful day here in the Dominican Republic. It's been raining like cats and dogs for the last 5 days. The tourists are going insane. Tons of day drinking going on right now in Cabarete and Sosua. I showed you video of the sailboat that washed up on Playa Sosua. And listen, it gave me inspiration. I've been getting a lot of comments and a lot of feedback about a video that I made around 8 months ago. And I did a sailing trip, a solo sailing trip from Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic, and I really didn't think there would be that much interest in it. I was wrong. There's a lot of interest in it. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to re-edit the video, I'm going to put new footage in it, and I'm going to give you guys a better video about my solo sailing from Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic. You ready? I mean, what the hell else am I going to do in the rain? Oh, wait. All right, let's get into it. I got to make a quick video to start this video out. It's already done. I edited it. I went through the editing process. Yeah, that sounds better. Look, I'm over in Puerto Rico working on the yacht today, but we got... So that was the intro for the first video that I did. Now let's back up. Let me do this over and give you a proper briefing and some background about this voyage that's about ready to take place. Here's the game plan. I'm going to leave the Dominican Republic. I'm going to fly over to Puerto Rico into San Juan. I'm going to drive over to Fajardo and Puerto del Rey Marina. It's probably about an hour depending on traffic. I'm going to get to the marina. I'm going to spend a couple days prepping the boat. And then I'm going to leave. And my intended route is I'm going to go north up along the coast of Puerto Rico, follow the north shore of Puerto Rico, heading west. I'm going to jump off, leave Puerto Rico, angle up to the Dominican Republic, and then follow the north shore of the DR into Ocean World Marina in Puerto Plata. And I'm going to do this by myself. I don't have any crew with me on this trip. And I'm looking at roughly 290 nautical miles with perfect wind, perfect conditions, about 48 hours of solo sailing. Now, you can never plan on perfect weather, as any sailor will tell you. So we're going to rough it in and say 72 hours. That's what I'm planning on. It's just a little bit before 6 a.m. and I'm out here in the kitchen. I'm packing up my gear to go on this trip. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my real job is I'm a sailboat captain. So I've got all of my gear out here, and I'm just checking to make sure I don't miss anything. So both of those little contraptions are satellite communicators. One's an EPIRB. I'm bringing this boat over by myself, so I got to make sure I got some safety elements involved here, and those two gadgets are a big part of that. Headphones, iPad, charger, a really good pair of sunglasses, not my cheap Dominican knockoffs that you buy from the Haitian kids. I've got a satchel bag. I wear this one while I'm on the boat. It keeps me from dropping things like iPhones into the water. Big backpack, my man purse for the airport. Don't hate. I'm pretty well set. And by the way, I also refill all my med kit while I'm over here because I can walk into the pharmacy and throw amoxicillin, Cipro, burn cream, high strength ibuprofen, all the good stuff right over the counter. I've got one of these little inhalers that I bought a ton of these last time I was in Asia. I'm sure many of you guys know what that is. And then most importantly, don't forget the passport and a pen to fill out my paperwork on the airplane. So I'm pretty well set. I'm going to start packing this stuff. Off we go. That was a rough night of travel, but we made it. All right, so good morning. This is sailing vessel Halcyon, 54 feet on the waterline, 15-foot 8-inch beam, 7-foot 6-foot keel, over 20,000 pounds of lead in her belly to keep us nice and safe. I've sailed all over in this boat. State-of-the-art electronics, dual helm. I'm super comfortable on this boat. This ain't my boat. This is my boss's boat, as Captain Ron would say. And she takes really good care of it, and she takes really good care of me. So I got some maintenance to do, we got some washing to do, and some shopping and prep. So lots of work to do before we get out of here. You don't just untie it and sail away. This is the part that they never show you in the sailing videos. This is where most of the work is done. It's not done out on the water. It's done before you even leave the dock. I'm going through, I'm checking all the bilges, I'm checking all the bilge pumps, I'm gonna change the oil on the engine, I'm gonna change the fuel filters, I'm gonna thoroughly go over the autopilot, I'm gonna check every one of the electronical systems. You get where I'm going with this. I've actually already found one bilge pump that's not functioning properly, so I'm gonna replace that. Big deep breath. This is where a successful voyage starts. It starts with proper preparation and proper planning, and you can't speed through this. You got to take your time. And yeah, there are people, I know a few of them, that will just show up to a boat and go. That's not how I roll. Like, all the work that I'm going to do over the next couple of days is going to provide me peace of mind when I'm out on the ocean. I'm going to dive the hull of the boat. I'm going to look at the prop. Like I said, every piece of mechanical equipment, every piece of rigging is going to get looked at. If anything looks worn, if anything looks suspect, I'm going to take the time to repair it properly or replace it. By the way, this tool bag is my best friend out on the ocean. I love this thing. It's made by Atlas Tools. Go check it out. I mean, they're great for the house also. All right, enough of the tools, enough of the mechanical talk. Let me give you guys a tour of this beautiful yacht. If I were a boat broker, and I'm not, I would start off by pointing out the exquisite woodwork on this vessel and the spacious salon with seating for up to 12 guests, entertaining, dining. Nah, I can't continue on with that. It's just not working. This is a beautiful boat. And by the way, all of this stuff that you're looking at is going to get secured, tied down, properly stowed before I leave so that there's no breakage issues along the way. Galley, I'm going to pre-make all of my food. I'm going to boil a bunch of eggs. I'm going to make some pasta salad. I'll have a couple sandwiches ready to roll. If I get into any kind of nasty weather, it's just not going to be possible to make food. So I'm going to need stuff that I can eat at once. Nav station where you can do a little planning, electrical panel, smoke detector, which isn't working. That's on the replace list. And if we move forward, I'll show you the forward staterooms. Now, be warned, my stuff's, there's all of my gear. I've got a ditch bag, that's fully ready to go. I'll move that back up to the helm station. It'll be secured. If anything happens, I gotta jump overboard. That thing goes with me. Might be a bottle of rum in there. There's my shelves that I picked up at Home Depot yesterday for Malibu's. Normally it doesn't work this way, but if we had guests on board, this would all be cleaned up. So don't judge. Let me show you the best part of this boat, the master stateroom in the back. Look at that. Yeah, I will not be spending any time down here, unfortunately. I will be nested and sleeping upstairs on deck. Solo trip. Now, if I had crew, you could come down here, take a nice little shower, have a good snooze, play on your iPad. That doesn't work when you're solo. Here's the head. All right, that concludes our tour. Let's go to work. 3 days later and countless trips back and forth to the marine store, finally clearing out of the slip. I'm gonna spin over to the fuel dock, throw some diesel on this thing, and then off we go. That right there is somebody who knows how to spend their money. Look at that thing. That is just beautiful. All right, I'm out of here. I got a full load of diesel fuel. I've done every check I possibly can on this boat. I have a life raft ready. I have a ditch bag. It's got food, water. I've checked everything, mechanical thing that I can check. I've checked all the rigging. I've done a bunch of small little minor repairs. I'm fully prepared to go. The only thing I don't have right now is wind. Man, anytime you want wind, you don't get it. Anytime I'm trying to go upwind, it's blowing 25, 30 knots. It's just Murphy's Law of sailing, I guess. So we're gonna motor most of the day, it looks like, but could be worse. Check this out. Yeah, dolphins. I love these guys. We're only about a mile out of the marina. Look at it. They love coming in and surfing the bow wave of the boat. I don't know how long they'll stick around, hopefully for a while. Look at Mom teaching the kid how to surf. Very cool. There you go, buddy. Get it. Get it, get it, get it. First sunset of this trip. I might have a glass of wine in my hand. Look at that. Beautiful. What a great day. Dolphins to send us off, and look at that sky. I'm pretty well dialed in for tonight. I walked around the deck, did a good check. I've got a preventer line up on the boom. Wind, probably gonna die out tonight. I'm probably gonna end up motoring at some point, so I'm ready to do that. I got a few snacks up there in the cooler. I got my pillow. Might be a beer or two on ice, but I'm ready. Bring on the night. As you can tell, my hands are not on the helm. Autopilot's working, and it's working flawlessly. It's why we spent so much time checking it. That's what allows me to walk around the boat, take dolphin videos, do my checks, let the autopilot steer the boat. It can steer in a much straighter line than I can. It will be on 95% of this trip. 3 a.m., there is absolutely nothing going on, still hardly any wind, so I'm motor sailing. Nothing on the radar, nothing on the AIS, pretty quiet. I'd rather have 6-foot seas, I honestly would. And 26 knots of wind. I'd scoot right over the DR. This is just torturous. I gotta find something to do. Laundry, boat style, in the bucket. Look at the view. You're not gonna get that at a laundromat. Yeah, I didn't have time to do a load of laundry before I left Puerto Rico, and it was getting pretty rank. And we have our first mechanical issue. I have a loose belt, so I got to go down and rip into the engine compartment and get it tightened. Luckily, it's not rough. This should be fairly easy, fairly quick. Oh my God, that was hot, nasty. It's done. You know, the big problem with that belt too is that it also runs the water pump. You know what happens if you don't get water to an engine. All right, done. Yeah, look at this nonsense. Yeah, not enough wind for this boat. So we're gonna crank the motor up. I'm gonna put us back on course. I'm gonna drink a cocktail and contemplate what comes next. Probably lunch. Unfortunately, I can't give you guys any footage of what just happened, but rest assured, your tax dollars are being very well spent. Also, anybody considering maybe getting into the export-import business between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico,
I definitely wouldn't. And we have 4 new customers at Malibu's. Listen, they couldn't have been nicer, and that has got to be one of the most kick-ass, go-fast boats I have ever seen in my entire life. Homeland Security's got some pretty cool ones. They're stationed in St. Thomas. But this thing, ridiculous. But I did give them shit about jamming my radar, and they went, maybe we did, maybe we didn't. We can't confirm. I'm like, that's nonsense. I'm out here. I'm just doing a transit from Puerto Rico to Dominican Republic. Don't freak people out like that. It's not nice. And it really, it's a safety issue. I need my radar to see what's going on. And anytime I see a vessel on my nav system that pops up, I want to know their heading. I want to know their speed. And when it vanishes, it freaks me the fuck out. That's just being aware, and that's being a responsible captain. So I get why they're doing it. Completely understand. It's weird they're operating this close to Dominican shore, but I know there's agreements in place. So
it's 4 a.m. and at least I've got a little company out here. I've got 2 commercial shipping vessels, and I think that's a fishing boat that's on my radar here. So all quiet, just chugging along.
Good morning. We are motor sailing. I still don't have any wind. Sun's coming up over the stern. So you guys might be asking, what do you do at night? How do you sleep? Well, obviously I'm out in the middle of the Atlantic. I can't just pull up somewhere, tie up, and go to sleep for 6 hours. So you're basically staying up the entire night doing little cat naps. So what I'll do is I'll set the timer on my phone. I'll take a really long, good look around. I'll look on the radar. I'll look on the AIS. I'm looking for any lights out on the horizon, any sign that there's somebody out here that I need to be aware of. In the case that there isn't, and that's normally the case, it's a big ocean, remember, I'll go ahead and I'll shut my eyes for 25 minutes. I'll get a 25-minute cat nap. My alarm will go off. I'll wake up. I'll immediately do another scan of the horizon. I'll look at the radar. I'll check the boat's navigational instrumentation. 5 minutes, I'll curl back up, another 25 minutes, and then I'll get up, and then I'll spend probably about a half an hour. I'll get something to drink, maybe a cup of coffee, really take a hard look at the boat again, look at my surroundings, make sure that there's nobody around, and then I'll do another 25-minute cat nap. So that's kind of how it works. That's what works best for me. Everybody does it differently. You talk to 100 different solo sailors, and they're all going to give you a different method on how to deal with it. But to be honest, the first 2 days are hell. You're tired all the time. It takes about 3 full days for your body to kind of get used to it. And the cat naps actually work. It's really, really weird. And that said, as soon as I get this boat tied up and safe someplace, I'm going to crash out for probably 10 hours. Now, the other question people may be asking themselves is, don't you get scared being out there all by yourself? I mean, nobody knows where you are. Well, that's not really true, because one of those devices I showed you guys at the beginning of the video is constantly sending out my position. Every hour, it's updating. And I've got a little system in place with my sister that I send her a written text message via the satellite every 4 hours. So she knows I'm okay. She knows where my position is. If she doesn't get that message, there's a procedure in place to let people know that I'm having a problem. And the satellite transponder, it's right next to me. If I end up in the water, that thing's with me. So that gives you a little bit of a peace of mind. But other than that, I love being out here. I love the tranquility of it, especially when the weather's nice. There are times that I kick off the autopilot and I sail the boat manually. I like to stand up the helm. Look, I'm a sailor. I can't just let this thing be on autopilot the entire time. So with the wind kicks up, getting the feel of that helm in your hand, any of you guys that are sailors know exactly what I'm talking about. Feeling the pull of the boat, the wind, the waves. it's a great experience. It's one of my favorite things about sailing. You get into a good wind, you get everything lined up, you got the sails trimmed in properly, and you just roll. Everybody watching this video that's dreaming, I want to buy a boat, I want to sail around the Caribbean, or I want to go around the world on it, let me just put in one giant disclaimer. It is not always like this. I have hours of footage of me standing back on a helm in foul weather gear with my lifeline hooked up, hanging on for dear life, freezing my ass off in a squall. I mean, maybe that's the next video. I'll do storm sailing in the North Atlantic, and that'll erase your little dreams immediately. Get me wrong, when it's like this, it's beautiful, but it's not always like this. This is a very good day. I can stand back there, drink coffee, drive the boat. I don't have a care in my little head. I'm happy as a clam. There's other days that I'm downstairs looking at the weather update every 5 minutes, hanging on for dear life. It's terrifying. I'm not putting that video on this video because it's a happy video. And like I said to begin with, I hate sailing in storms. I hate being wet. I hate being cold. Maybe in a future video we'll do that one, but just everybody realize it's not always like this. It's there, I promise. You just can't see it because of the clouds. But Mount Isabella, Puerto Plata, right on the horizon. I should be in sometime probably around 9 p.m. tonight. If those clouds weren't there, we'd be able to show you. I've already called in. They know I'm coming. I'm going to have to stay at the marina tonight because customs is already on their way home, and that's okay. But successful trip. Like half of this video is probably going to be super boring because it just really wasn't windy. There weren't any big waves, and that's kind of what people like to see. Which leads me to another thing. All right, so as a bar owner, Malibu is on Playa Sosua number 107, by the way. If you're in the area, stop in and have a beer with us. But I always have people come in, they go, Danny, I know you do a lot of sailing. My dream is to buy a boat and live on it. What do you think? No. I know. A lot of you guys are like, what? He just said no? How could you say no to that lifestyle? All right, so a few things. First and foremost, living on a boat is not fun. You're constantly battling water supply, energy usage, the elements, just a lot of that goes into owning a boat and living on a boat that I think people don't realize because all you see is the happy fun stuff like this. You don't see me out polishing the stainless steel. You don't see me sweating my ass off on the nights that you can't run the AC. And I haven't put any storm footage up. If I do all of that, maybe you'd have a different outlook. But as somebody who has spent a majority of their life out on the water, my dream is not to live on the boat. My dream is to go on the boat for maybe 2 weeks, tie the boat up, go home, crank on the AC, open the refrigerator, drink some beer, not worry about water leaks, maintenance. I could go on and on and on. My advice to all of you, anybody who's interested in getting into this lifestyle, go and do a bareboat charter. Get a bareboat for 2 weeks and just have the mindset of that. If I own this, how many things on this boat would I need to fix? Put yourself through a little bit of realism before you go out and invest that money into something that's going to cost you a lot of money. All right, that's it. Lecture over. I'm going to put this boat in the dock and I'm going to put my feet up and have a couple cold beers. Arrived last night about 8:30 p.m., safe and sound into Puerto Plata, Ocean World Marina. The Armada had a couple guys out at the dock, help me tie the boat up, super nice of them. My buddy Russ has this sport fisher located here, so I'm over here having a cup of coffee with him this morning. I gotta wait until customs comes to stamp the boat in and stamp my passport. But yeah, made it safe and sound. No damage to the boat, no injuries to myself. Smooth sailing. I wish we'd have had a little bit more wind to make the video a little bit more interesting, but no storms, so we'll take what we got. I have one more thing to show you guys, and it doesn't really tie in with this solo trip, but it's really fucking cool. So disclaimer, this was done on a different trip. I had a crew member on the boat. Shout out Steve. We've been through some weather together. Anyways, dead flat conditions. I had a crew member on the boat. We were over the Puerto Rico Trench. I decided to do something that I would never, ever do. I would never do this by myself. I would never do this in any sort of weather. I wouldn't even do this in 5 knots of wind. I'm going to jump off the boat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and show you what the ocean looks like when there's 26,000 feet of water underneath you. Are you ready? All right, let's go. There's a lot of people out there that complain about their life. I'm not one of them. I started off this morning sitting on my buddy's sport fisher at Ocean World Marina, watching the sun come up. Now I'm finishing the day sitting on Playa Sosua with a cold beer in my hand, watching the sun set after being at sea for 2.5 days. I mean, I definitely understand how blessed my life is, and I'm so thankful for everything and everyone in it. I've shot a lot of video over the last 4 days. I just don't know how much of it's actually going to end up on a Sosua 1 video. But I mean, I can't stop putting sunsets up, can I? All right, kids, that's a wrap. I think this video actually is amazing. I should have done it this way to begin with. Thank you to the guys that have been commenting and sending me emails and pushing me to put that video out. As always, keep your ass in the sand and your keel in the water. And yeah, she's still up on the hard. We're trying to work out a way to get her back out in the water. Fingers crossed. I'll keep you guys posted. Until next time, Danny, Sosua 1, Dominican Republic, Playa Sosua, and Malibu's Beach Park. Sailing off into the sunset.